Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katerina and today I bring you a different kind of video from what I usually do. Today's video is 10 tips and tricks to keep up with your no-buy or low-buy depending on what you are doing, but in my opinion they work for both. Before we get into it, I want to mention that I have a little scratch here. I don't know how noticeable it is, but yeah, I scratched myself, so please ignore that. And most importantly, this video is a collab with DW from Dub's Beauty Diary. Yeah, you probably have heard of her. If you haven't, please go check her out. I'm going to link her channel on the description box, of course. If you come over from DW's channel, welcome. Once again, I'm Katerina and I do videos all about project planning and using up your stash and everything like that. I want to mention that I haven't been posting, and that's because my life has been a mess as always, but I'm going to finally start posting my intros for the 2025 project plans. So yeah, let's get into the video now that the housekeeping is all done. I have a couple notes here, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at, just so you guys know. My first tip would be to have and know your reason. So you can't just say, I'm going on a low buy or no buy, and I'm going to use the terms interchangeably. You have to have a reason and know it and believe in your reason. So for me personally, I've been on a no buy, on a low buy, and now I'm doing a no buy again in specific categories, because I don't need to have a no buy for micellar water, for example, because I usually only have one. If I see a sale, I buy a new one and just keep it as a backup, but I don't have more than that. So that's not a problematic category for me. Or at least I need to know, I need the no buy or the low buy because I don't have. Thank you, Max. That's my dog, Max. I need to have a reason because I need to keep in mind I can't buy anything because I don't have the space. I shouldn't buy anything because I'm wasting too much money on this stuff. I shouldn't buy anything because I'm letting my stuff rot in my drawers while I'm still trying to pan other stuff. So yeah, I think it's super important to have and know your reason. Then I would advise against most advice on the internet, which is keep a wish list. For me, if I don't have a wish list, I don't have somewhere that I can put the product that I want to have eventually on, the product won't leave my mind. And I'll be like, but I really want that lipstick, but that lipstick, I can't forget about that lipstick. That's not true. I can just put it on a list, and once my no buy is over or I need to replace something in that category, I can just go to my wish list and pick something that I actually want and have wanted for a longer period of time, instead of just going to the drugstore and okay, this one can be it. So yeah, I would advise you to keep a wish list, and you can even like once a month or something like that. Once a month usually works for me, but choose a healthy time between going into your wish list and cleaning it out. Maybe you found a palette, but then you heard someone saying it's actually not very pigmented. That's fine, just remove it from the wish list if you're no longer interested in it. 3 is have an accountability partner. For me, I chose my sister. I live with my sister and with my parents, but my sister is a little bit more interested in my hobbies, such as makeup. And if I needed to check, is this a reasonable purchase or I'm just going off the wagon again, I'd be like, sister, would you think this would be an okay purchase, or should I just not buy it? And she's honest as hell. So she would definitely say, you're just being crazy, you don't need that, you have like 10 at home. So yeah, an accountability partner, and that can be as serious or not as you need it to be. For me, it's not super serious. I never overspent to the point that I was in debt or anything like that. So if I made a purchase, it was not the end of the world, and you can probably hear Max pause at the moment. But I would like to not make that purchase, so my sister would hold me accountable for that. Number 4 would be realistic. If you are buying a new product every day, going cold turkey might not help you very much, might not result quite as well as just reducing your purchases. For me, it did work. I'm not good at the moderation thing. I usually, once again, I usually either buy or not. So what I'm doing now that I need to buy replacements is when I go to the drugstore, I try to buy like the few things that I might need in the next couple of weeks or even months, so I don't have to go to the drugstore quite as much. And that works for me because every time that I go, I have the tendency to go look every new shade of lipstick, every new product, the new collections, and spring is here, so spring collections are here as well. So that's not quite as good for me. But I'm realistic with myself. I buy the replacements that I will need because I have a few staples that I always need to have. For example, my powder, mascara, concealer, I always use the same. So I always need those. And yeah, I do buy them in a little group of items at a time. On the other hand, if you know that you have, let's say, only one lip balm and you always need a lip balm, it may not be realistic for you to say, I'm not going to purchase anything, because it might feel like a failure when you buy something that you actually need, for example, that lip balm. So yeah, be realistic, observe your stash and your consuming habits, and try to be as realistic as possible, and also allow yourself to make changes along the way. And this is kind of a side tip. I think it's important for you to adapt your project to what you need at that moment. Next up, I have number 5, take inventory of your stash. And that would be, in my opinion, crucial for you to have an accurate idea of what you actually have, because many times we might think we only have a couple of lipsticks, we only have a few eyeshadow palettes, but how many is a couple or a few? And I know a couple it's two, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, hopefully. So yeah, take inventory of your stash and have a realistic idea of what you actually have, and maybe even choose what you would like to not have anymore and use up in order to then make a few more purchases. My next tip would be to start some kind of project pen. And if you've been already here for a little while, you know I'm a great fan of project pen and project penning. So yeah, I would say a project pen can be really helpful because it will help you focus on a few items, and you can even just do 10 uses on this category, 20 uses on everything on this category, no pen left behind for your eyeshadows or products in general. It will help you reshift your focus into project penning instead of just buying. My next tip would be to keep in mind that there will be another sale, other gifts with purchases, and new releases, because this is actually something that I'm always kind of on the fence about. I will be looking to buy something that I need, and I would see that if you spend X amount of money, you will get 6 samples or something like that, because the gift with purchases here are usually not that good. Actually, I'm in Portugal, in case you guys don't know. So we don't have crazy deals. Most of the time, it's very rare for you to get a deal that actually is worth it. But yeah, I'm a sucker for freebies. So yeah, I try to keep in mind that next month they will probably be gifting something else. Or maybe not, and that's fine, because you usually can't choose your gift with purchases. So that would be fine. For limited edition products, same thing. There will be another limited edition collection or something like that. There will be new releases. And maybe once the time comes that I actually need a new foundation, let's say it, I will purchase something that I actually will want at that time instead of something that I wanted X amount of months ago. Another thing that has worked for me very well is to rearrange my stash and clean out my makeup products. If you see something every day, you won't be observing it quite as much. I've read a study on that, and it's like you become blind of sorts to the thing that you see every day in the same place. It's the same for clutter. So yeah, I would say rearrange your stash for in a way that serves you better, and clean out your products, make them look brand new, shiny, and all the more interesting for yourself. I would also say, in the same line of thoughts, to franken your products. I have a few videos of me frankening my eyeshadows, bronzer, and I think a lipstick as well, maybe? Possibly. Jessica Lee also has a ton of videos on that, and I think most YouTubers or project panners might have those videos. I also think Rebecca from Penning and Stuff has a ton of videos on that. You'd probably just have to search for frankening my eyeshadows or something like that, and you can make pretty much a brand new product out of stuff that you already have. So are you out of bronzers? Maybe you can make some with your eyeshadows and help yourself using your eyeshadows instead of buying something new. And it's also a ton of fun to play Mad Scientist, at least I love it, and from my experience it works out very well most times. And lastly, a bit of a reality check besides taking inventory of your stash would be to calculate how many years worth of a product category you have. So let's say you usually finish up 1.5 lipsticks in a year. If you have 9 lipsticks, then you have 6 years worth of lipstick usage. And if you could see myself counting on my fingers, that's true, I did, because I hadn't done the math prior to filming. Shame on me. Yeah, it's a very humbling experience, even a little bit hurtful, but I think it's sometimes needed. For example, I have, I think, over 400 eyeshadows at this moment. I usually use up like 8 to 10 eyeshadows a year. I have over 40 years of eyeshadow usage in my collection stash life. That's not the number that I want to hear, because probably these eyeshadows won't be good in 30 years time, let alone 40. So yeah, I know that I have to amp up my usage a little bit on my eyeshadows to make this a little bit more approachable. So yeah, I think it can be a very nice experience. Just do this when you have the time. Maybe instead of scrolling on makeup website, a brand website, Sephora, Ulta's, something like that. Maybe do this as an exercise and keep that in mind when you are making future purchases. So yeah, these were my 10 tips and tricks that have worked for myself. I know DW will be sharing something else a little bit more relating to project planning, so that's also very nice and useful. Our videos will complement each other very nicely, I think. So yeah, if you are not coming from her channel, or if you haven't seen her video yet, please go and watch it and leave us both a like if you enjoyed these kind of videos. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hers if you don't know her yet, and leave us a comment. Leave us your best tip, your best trick, how these work for you, because everyone is different, and I'm sure just the two of us haven't gone over every tip and trick that is. So leave us yours and let us know what works for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave us a like if you did, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Both my channel and her channel are mostly about project planning. I know she does a ton of get readies with me. That's not my vibe, honestly, but if you want some inspiration, she does a ton of cool looks, usually colorful and very fun looking. Yeah, I'm a little bit more on the shyer side, and I don't feel quite as comfortable doing get readies with me on camera, but I usually share my looks on Instagram because I'm doing No Pen Left Behind on my eyeshadow palettes. Once again, hopefully you enjoyed this video and it was a ton of fun collaborating with you, DW. I'm so thankful you invited me to do this collab, and I hope we can do more collabs in the future. Bye guys!